Hey guys, it's Lindsay Music with JL Ranch Training. The horse I'm working with is Buckle. She's a 9-month-old quarter horse filly. I walk up to her and immediately begin rubbing her with the stick. We're going to be working on lunging and lunging for respect, as Clinton Anderson calls it. I am using polo wraps to protect her legs by Snowy Mountain Horse Shop. Getting started, she is a bit sticky. So this is a perfect example of a horse that may be new to lunging or may not know how to lunge at all. I point and then raise the stick and then start spanking the ground with it. If she doesn't send, I continue to hold the pressures and working with her to get her to go forward. There are a couple times that I do spank her on the hip to drive her forward a little bit more. However, this is not my first go-to option. Notice my left hand has stayed up in the air the entire time, and as soon as she gives me any forward movement of the feet, I drop all pressures. Reward is imminent in training a horse. Releasing the pressure is the reward. At this point in time, given her age, I'm not looking for much more than a walk. Occasionally she will break into the trot, at which point I will calmly talk her down, telling her easy walk. I keep my body relaxed and my stick by my side. When I ask her to stop, I look at her hindquarters, then point the direction I want her to go, and use my stick to get her driving from behind the direction I want to go. Again, as she trots, I talk to her and tell her easy walk. She turns and looks at me before I'm ready. I go ahead and point again, given my first cue, and continue to drive her forward, preferably again at the walk. If she starts to slow down before I've asked her to stop or to slow down on my cue, I go ahead and point and then keep her moving. Again, yielding the hindquarters, I look to her hindquarters, bowing my body at this point. Eventually she'll get to the point where I'll just look and she will come to a stop and face me. And then I send her out. A lot of trainers like to ask them to come into the circle when they stop them. I prefer to keep them out, and when the time is right, I invite them in if I want. However, initially I want them to stay out of the circle unless invited. When she starts to slow, I'll click with my tongue and then point with my finger. When I'm asking her to stop and she's not listening, I'll continue to look at her hindquarters and give light jerks on the lead rope until she gives me her full attention and stops her feet from moving. I'm not going to pull her into a stop, however, I will give those annoying tugs to remind her that she needs to stop when I'm asking. I like that she is traveling on a loose lunge line at this point with no tension. If a horse tends to lean on the lunge line, I prefer to use those short tugs to bring them in or to slow them down. If a horse is trotting and pulling out, you can help solve the problem by 1, dropping the speed. 2, you need to get their attention and bring them focused back to you. When I ask them for a stop and reverse of the turn, I want them to go ahead and lift their shoulders and cross over in the front. This is why it's beneficial to teach yielding the front end before getting into this. I like to be sure that I have control of each part of the horse's body, whether it's the back or the front end. I want them to know that when I point to the shoulder, it means move over, crossing over in the front. The outside leg over the inside. Rather than lunging in mindless circles, I like to add a lot of turns and reversals and stops into the program. This keeps the mind and body engaged from just running mindlessly around the handler. In the second video, you'll notice a lot more changes of direction and less full circles. I'll ask her at half of a circle, or 3/4 of a circle, or even the full circle. I want to ensure that I am teaching her to move when I ask her to move, and controlling her body from the inside of the circle. If your horse is a bit sticky and spinning his hindquarters to the outside of the circle, you can use your whip hand to follow up after his hindquarters as if chasing them around to the back, and then sending him immediately. So instead of just looking, you'd follow through with the arm, pushing his hindquarters away with that hand. For those of you who don't have a training stick, I'm going to demonstrate how to do it with just a lead rope. Here you'll see I'm driving her forward with the tail end of the lead rope, as if it were my training stick. I'm spinning the lead rope towards her hind end, not away. Notice how she is a little bit sticky when I don't have this training stick in my hand. Knowing this, I do like to try and train without it on times that I don't have it, so that she can get used to following my lead no matter what I have in my hands, or nothing. Notice that at that point she started to anticipate the turn. I stopped her and had her stand instead. Rather than allowing the horse to anticipate your next move, go ahead and change it up occasionally. Here I asked her to back instead. That's all we've got for today. I hope you enjoyed the training session with Buckle.